Your character represents the resilience of so many unnamed and unrecognized women. How important is it to show their stories and see representations on screen of motherhood in all its forms?
Well, it's I think it's vitally important, and it was such a privilege to be able to to do it in this film and to play this particular woman who I have such gratitude for, because she's someone who I experienced so much joy playing her, and I'm really doing my best to hold on to pieces of her. She really was a sort of personal gift to me to get to play. Um, but yes, single mothers, they are heroic and often um, unsung heroes in so many ways. But I think something that was done in the film, was the way it was handled in the film, is so beautiful, because that her sort of stillness, and her sort of the that she is that constant for him. Um and so just getting to spend time in that relationship, and building that with these two actors playing my son, and with George at the helm, it was quite wonderful.
Yeah. And I loved how she was so beautifully complex. You mentioned her stillness, but also, um, I don't know if it was in the writing, your performance, the directing, a combination of all, but also allowing her to be emotional, which I think, be able to be emotional, but also be strong. And the quiet confidence that so many women have, that's rarely seen on screen, was just really beautiful.
And to be funny. I was so glad that
She
George
is
sort of
funny.
let me have a kind of daffiness, and there was, I think that's something that I I loved, being able to lean into that, and to sort of have both things exist at the same time, where um, George wasn't afraid of any of it. So I really felt like I could bring all of it safely to the performance and to the telling of her story.
Exactly. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I'm originally from the East Coast, so I feel like
Me too.
I know. So yeah, that humor. I love when you say, "You mind if your mama believes in you," which I was like, I feel like that is such a quintessential, like, amazing mom line.
Yeah.
I also would love to talk about how this film explores the different ways in which we measure success, because although mom felt sometimes like a failure in her son's eyes, all the love and support that she gave him, she was always a success to him. And I think that is something that we tend to forget, especially as women, I think. Can you explore that a little bit?
Something that, there's that theme in the movie that is so poignant and relatable, and I think especially sort of in this moment in the world, I found it particularly moving, which is this idea that we, certainly as young people, in a kind of coming of age way, but also throughout our lives, we often feel like, oh, well, I'm just missing this one thing. And if I just had this one thing, or this one person, or this one relationship, everything would kind of drop into place, and I would feel complete, and I can go on my path and live my life. And I think something that mothers do so remarkably is allow and show, subtly reveal to their children that they in fact are enough. They have everything they need. And so this kind of quest for these missing ideas of things, they are simply, it's an idea, it's a fiction, it's this narrative that we write for ourselves, so that we can kind of never just exist on our own. And I think there is no one better than a mother to let you know that that's not the case, and that you're okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, my parents are visiting me from out of town right now. My mom's probably hearing all of this in the background. Going, yes, yes. Um, let's talk too about the just the ways in which this film explores the complex yet so powerfully moving and meaningful family dynamics. I mean, even though mom never really fully agrees with Uncle Charlie and his lifestyle, she trusts her son with him. So there's this sort of beautiful kind of unspoken trust in family, even if you disagree. And I think, again, very relatable for today, and another really important lesson I think that we should all be reminded of.
And I, in that relationship, uh, in particular, I mean, sure, he's out late and he's at the bar and whatever, but there's a fundamental kind of soul level understanding between
Mhm.
those two characters. And I think you said unspoken, and I think so much of it is unspoken. It's like the umbilical cord between them sort of hasn't been cut in a wonderful way. They have that, that feeling of holding someone's hand under the table, even if you're not actually physically holding it, but you can just make 2 seconds of eye contact with that person and feel grounded by it, because you know that they know the truth of who you are. Um, and that is mutual. And so I think that that kind of sibling relationship and that love between them was such a wonderful thing to build with Ben, and to play throughout the movie, because really it's right there with her in every moment of her life, even when he's not there, even when she's not home, and even when it wasn't a scene between the two of us. She is carrying him, and I think feels carried by him in
Mhm.
equal measure, sort of throughout the journey of the film, throughout her life.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier that this character was a gift in a lot of ways, which I thought was so lovely. What did playing her teach you most about yourself?
Oh gosh, it was such a wonderful reminder, um, of how, and we've all spoken to this over the last few days, because we've been talking about the film together, and it's been so wonderful to hear the rest of the cast sort of echoing the same idea of how important it is to have joy on set, and really, no matter what the content is of the story. I think there was such a unanimous feeling of joy coming to work, and everyone kind of leaving set every day feeling lit up, and feeling, just being so reminded of how much we love doing what we do. And so I I was just reminded how much I love getting to do what I do. And that's a great thing to be reminded of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to celebrate those joys, I think.
Yeah.